Welcome to episode 18 of the Vibrant You Health Show. I am honored and privileged today to have my special guest, Terry Lemerond, or as I like to call him, Terry Naturally. Terry, thank you so much for being with me today.
Oh, it's my pleasure. It's an honor to be with you. I'm looking forward to it. I'm happy, and I know that we'll help people get healthier and we'll serve our communities.
Amen to that. So Terry, you are, and you have been in the nutritional products industry for what is that, 40 or years?
Over 50 years.
Over 50 years now. You have personally helped research and develop over 400 nutritional and botanical formulations, that many of which continue to be top selling products. And your mission is to help improve the health of America. And I know, as a personal testimony to that, your teaching and your products have personally helped me improve my health. And I've also read some of your books. You've written many books. How many books did you write last year?
I was on a mission last year. In January of 21. I like doing shows like this with you and other people. And I like to train retailers how to use products. But you only get a few minutes together, and maybe we'll have an hour today. And that's not enough time to really make a change in people's lives. It may spur them and inspire them to say, well, maybe I should be doing something about my health. But if you sit down with a book and you read it, you underline it, you go back and reread it again, and you think about it, you have a lot more opportunity to help somebody to be educated about their health. And when it really comes right down to it, drug companies don't make people healthy, and doctors don't make people healthy. Drugs don't make anybody healthy. They cause more side effects. They cause more use of other drugs after that. Doctors, although the name doctor means teacher, they don't teach anybody about anything. They write prescription for drugs. So they're kind of a drug pusher. And in some cases, that's good. It's okay, because we need drugs in our society. In some cases, if there's an injury or if there's a severe accident, I'm not going to, if I'm run over by a car, I don't want somebody to give me vitamin C. I don't want a drug. I want to be healthy and happy. So drugs are important, but they're not going to replace food. And, I've had people say to the doctor, I don't want to take a statin drug. I don't want to take that medicine you want me to take. I know I can do it through natural supplements and diet. And the doctor will say, diet has nothing to do with your health. Well, what do you mean? What doesn't have to do with your health? I mean, we survived for 3 million years on food. And now in the last 100 years, it seems like everybody is on drugs. Some people are on 17, 20 drugs. I mean, it's crazy. And really the best medicine in the world is food.
Yeah, 100%. And your body is made, you're remaking all the cells in your body constantly out of what you put in it.
Exactly.
So the heart is being remade out of what nutrition we put in our body continually over our lifetime. And so it seems like doctors like heart surgeons might want to be educated a little bit on nutrition. And the same principle applies to other fields of medicine. Now, Terry, I actually, I've been with Nature's Pantry here for about 8 years now, and we've sold your products much longer than that here at the store, but I didn't get to meet you until recently at a conference you had in Phoenix, Arizona in January. And it was really, I got to say, I was blown away by getting to meet you and listen to you present in your presentations and the information you shared, and the doctors who were there and the clinical studies that they shared and the presentations they shared. I was blown away by the research and the clinical studies and the effort you put into making a high quality and effective products, and which we're going to talk more about some of that later. But first, Terry, I want to hear just a little bit about you and where you grew up, what your upbringing was like.
Well, that's a really long story. I've been in this business for over 50 years, so you know that I'm up there in age a little bit. So I've been around a long time. So it's a long story, but I'm going to try to make it really short.
Okay.
When I was very young, I was very, very unhealthy. Not because I was born unhealthy, because I became unhealthy because of my environment and my diet. So I was very overweight, well over 200 pounds, even as a teenager, very depressed, very, at high blood sugar, suffered from hypoglycemia. I was a very unhappy person, very angry, belligerent, obnoxious. I was not a very nice person. And I have had three major angels in my life that have changed my life. And that has brought me to where I am today. One of the angels was a Catholic priest. I went to a Catholic grade school, high school, and I was mean. And he's, Terry, you're so angry. You're going to end up in prison if you don't settle down. And in fact, when I was in grade school, in my 8th grade graduating class yearbook, they wrote in there, Terry's going to be the first one to go to prison. I was a hellion on wheels because I was so angry. My diet was terrible. I ate nothing but sugar and junk food and candy and soft drinks in my early years. And my father was an alcoholic. So we lived in a very tough environment, very poor. We didn't have a bathroom in the house until I was almost in high school. So I had a rough life. And I hated it. So I was angry at everybody, angry at myself. If you don't like yourself, you don't like anybody else.
Right.
And so this priest took me aside and said, Terry, you are going the wrong way for sure. So if you don't do something with your life, you're going to go to prison. So I thought about that. Now that's the second time I've been told that. So I said to myself, well, in the Marine Corps, they make men out of boys. So I joined the Marine Corps. And when I went into the Marine Corps, I don't know why, but a captain. Now, this is very unusual, almost a miracle, because I was a private and officers don't associate with privates. But he took a liking to me for some reason. Maybe he saw something in me that I did not see, and he wanted to bring that out of me. So he took me under his wing and taught me what to eat, took me home at his home off the base where we could eat dinner together and talk about diet, talk about nutrition. And then he got me on a weightlifting schedule. And then he took me to my very, very first health food store. I never heard of a health food store in my days. There was nothing in Green Bay, where I came from, Green Bay, Wisconsin. There was not a health food store in the town that I ever saw. And so I was blown away in my first health food store. It was in Oceanside, California, right outside of the base at Camp Pendleton. And I started buying protein powders. And, there wasn't a lot of food and vitamins and minerals or nutrients in the health food store in those days. That was a long, long time ago. But it still was more than I had ever seen. So I started changing my life. He got me to lose weight. I started feeling really good. Of course, you do lose a lot of weight in the Marine Corps because when you're running 10 miles every day and you're going over the obstacle course every day, you just lose weight, get in better shape, and you feel better. But he changed my life. So when I came back to Green Bay, I was looking for a health food store. I wanted to still shop in one, but I never heard of one. But lo and behold, a lady who had never been married, who had worked in a health food store in another city, came to Green Bay to open up a health food store in Green Bay. And so I went in and introduced myself to her, and I was happy to know her. I was so passionate about what I wanted to do that I actually worked for her free of charge. I was working 3 to 11 in a machine shop. I would go to her store at 9 o'clock in the morning and work till about 2 o'clock, and then go over to the machine shop job after that. But it gave me a chance to pick her mind, to pick her brain, to understand more about nutrition and health. She was much more educated than I was. So we really had a really wonderful partnership together, so to speak. And after about 6 years, she said to me, I'm going to retire. I'm going to sell the store. She says, I have a man that wants to buy the store, but I don't want to sell it to him because he doesn't have an interest in the store himself. He wants to put some younger kids in here to run the store. And she said, that's not going to be very good for the store and for my customers. So she said, I want a really good person who has a passion for the industry. And I said, well, who's that? She says, you. And I said, oh my God, I've got more months left over than money. I had just got married, had 2 young kids. I can't afford to do this. She said, I'm not asking you to pay me. Here's my price. Here's what I want to sell the store for. You pay me when you can. So whenever you've got an extra $100 or whatever it is, just pay me. And over a number of years, I paid her off. She worked for me part-time. So these 3 angels have changed my life, changed who I am, changed the way I think about food and nutrition. And I made such a passion out of it. And I've been so disciplined in it and I've gone all over the country lecturing. I'm going to be in Florida next week doing 3 or 4 different store lectures, going to another workshop in Florida. And, I've learned from these people that are in the audience and people across the country that when they change their diet, when they change their lifestyle, when they change the choices that they're making every day, there's not a disease or a condition or a person that is too old to make changes. Everybody can make changes every day and they can get healthier. The problem is they don't know that. They never thought of that because the doctors are all pushing down their throat, drugs. They're not teaching them how to be healthy. Drug companies don't want them to be healthy because in order for drug companies to grow, they need sick people because that's who buy their drugs. So in the long run, people just don't understand that they can make changes, easily make changes. Now, it's going to take some discipline. It's going to take some sacrificing because they can't do it on drugs alone. They can't do it on supplements alone. The foundation of health is the diet. So if you have inflammation, there are some wonderful products out there that reduce inflammation in the heart or the joints or the mind or whatever it might be. But why keep eating a inflammatory diet and then try to take something to prevent inflammation? It doesn't make any sense. So that's where I am today. I'm trying to help people understand it's nutrition, it's food, it's supplements to fill in the gap of the food because the food today doesn't have the quality that it had 100 years ago. They have been estimated that we might have to eat 8 times the amount of fruits that our grandparents ate or our great grandparents ate because the food then was more nutritious, had more minerals and vitamins in it. Today, everything is based on growing things for profit, for money, economy, not for nutrition. Yeah. So I'm trying to change the world.
Oh, 100%. Well, and I've just been inspired by your story, and it was neat to get to learn more about that just now. That's really cool how you started out in a health food store, and what a neat story, and what humble beginnings, to have come from there to making some changes in your life through the influence of others to building a company, an amazing company like Terry Naturally, and I guess Europharma. But I met several of your employees and everybody seems very motivated, very happy. It seems like you really take great care of people. How do you lift people up so well in your company?
Well, first of all, treat them like family. Treat them like they're my children, treat them like my brothers and sisters. Be aware of what their needs are. You take care of the team that works for you, they're going to take care of everybody else. And then everybody becomes happy. It's just motivating them and inspiring them that, first of all, they're not selling products. They're not selling vitamins and minerals. They're selling a way of life. They're selling health. So they're changing people's lives too. And it's so inspiring that when your customers and your retailers call back in and talk to somebody in customer service and says, oh my gosh, my life has changed. You gave me a suggestion and I feel fantastic. I have more energy now. I'm not exhausted. All these conditions are changed in people's lives, and they just come back and want to be with you again. And they want to know more what you're doing and what can you do. So yeah, the team members really inspire everybody else.
Oh, that's awesome. That's so true. When you invest in people, is there any more important or valuable investment we can make than into others and building others up?
Oh no, I mean, absolutely. When you want to feel good, make somebody else feel good first. You'll have the benefits of that as well.
Amen to that. So Terry, tell me, how has your faith played a role in shaping your journey and your story?
Well, I'll tell you what, I trust Jesus Christ. I trust God in my life for everything that has ever happened to me. You know, I barely got out of high school. You know, I have goals, and goals have been a tremendous asset to me. I set goals, and I have very rarely ever missed a goal. You know, they almost like it's like a miracle when they happen, because you think about it, you pray about it, you envision it, and all of a sudden it happens. But you know, I read the Bible all the time. I do my prayers, and I know that God, actually should say Jesus Christ, was the most inspirational person we ever had in the world, ever. You know, it's done unto you according to your beliefs. You know, there are so many quotes in the Bible of inspiration and how we should perceive our life, and how we can, you know, it's a Bible of your life. It's telling you how to make your life, I can't say perfect, but how your life can be dramatically and significantly improved by just following the way of Christ.
Amen to that. Hey, I wanted to share this book, because that's this book that you wrote called The 7 Keys to Vibrant Health. And I've been reading this book, and it's so neat. The sections in here, you talk about this, and you have the 7 chapters. And the number 1 key to vibrant health is spirituality. Number 2, positive attitude. Number 3, positive relationships. Number 4, a healthy lifestyle. 5, regular exercise. 6, a health promoting diet. And 7, supplementation. And you know, these fundamentals to health, as a society, we've given these away. We've traded these fundamentals to health for fast food and quick fixes. And I think we're seeing some of the consequences of that. And I hope people are waking up to realize we got to get back to some of these fundamentals. And I love the title of this book, The Vibrant Health. Do you know what's so cool about this? When I saw this, our mission at Nature's Pantry is to lead people to vibrant health. And we've been teaching this holistic health principles that you're talking about for over 35 years now. And this show is actually called the Vibrant You Health Show. So it's just kind of cool how that ties together.
That makes us partners.
Yes, sir. So Terry, I'd like to spend the rest of the time talking a little bit about curcumin. But I did have one more question before we get into curcumin, and that is, well, how many books are you going to write this year?
Well, I'm going to write one major book. Cool. I wrote, well, in January of 21, I said, I'm going to write 9 books this year. I wrote 9 books. They're on various subjects, because some of these natural botanical medicines are so powerful. Actually, if you get, first of all, we have to make sure it's high quality, and not that it's adulterated. There's so much junk on the market today. It's terrible. And people who are not knowledgeable how to read a label, to understand what a product is, and every product that is called, let's say, for example, you go down the shelf and there's 25 grapeseed extracts on the shelf. They're not the same. Not any of them are the same. They're all going to be different depending on the processing, the extraction methods, what level of the actual components are in there. They're all different. Just because it says grapeseed extract, and just because everybody who has the name John isn't going to be the same. They're all going to be different. We're all human beings, but not one of us is alike. And that's exactly the same with herbs. They're all different. Yeah. But if we prove that these products are superior by scientific studies and research, and they have an effect, they're more effective than drugs. We did a study recently with 4 different herbal extracts. We had 4 arms of the study. One arm of the study was curcumin, one was grapeseed extract, one was melatonin, one was antigraphis. Now, these were studied, all these ingredients were studied on a colon cancer study. The mice had grafted human tumors. So actually it was done on human tumors. Wow. So we found that curcumin was 28% reduction of tumor growth in 14 days. 14 days, 28% reduction in tumor growth. Wow. Grapeseed extract was 40%. Melatonin was 50%. and antigraphis was 60%. That means 60% of those tumors reduced in 14 days.
Wow.
Then we combined melatonin and antigraphis together and reduced the size of tumors by 90% in 14 days. Then the researchers took 3 different chemo drugs and went through the same kind of clinical study. Those 3 chemotherapeutic drugs could not reduce the tumor size even less than 10%. They were very, very ineffective compared to the 4 herbal products that I mentioned.
Wow.
So if you use, and doctors don't want people to use herbal products. And we know that herbal products make, even if you use chemotherapy, it would be better to take curcumin or grapeseed or antigraphis because it reduces the need for the extent of the drug. You can lower the amount of drug and get the same effect, and a lesser dosage means a lesser toxicity to the brain and to the liver. So herbal medicines, you know, I would love to see someday regulation in the herbal medicine industry where we could prove to the FDA that why we can say what we want to say about a herbal product. Right now, we can't make any reference to medicine or
Right.
a claim for a disease with a branded product, for so to speak.
Right. You got to tiptoe around it.
So we have to find a way to get information out. So we talk about ingredients. Ingredients are okay to say because we aren't telling you what product it's in. That's legal. But one day I would hope that we can get along with the FDA to get to a point that we prove to the FDA by 3-4 studies that it's a superior product and it can have benefit. Even in chemo-resistant drugs, you know, the cancer doesn't want to die. The cancer cell does not want to die. It wants to thrive. In fact, even if you kill it, it leaves seeds to grow again and again. That's why people have cancer over and over and over again.
Right.
So we can prove that we can kill those cancer cells better than a drug does. We can, in a time when chemo is used, the cancer cells get so strong, like superbugs, they get strong against antibiotics. Cancer cells get strong against chemotherapy. They get stronger and stronger and stronger. So you can't, sometimes you can't even use enough drug to kill the cancer cells because then the drug kills the person before it kills the cancer.
Right.
So
a cup, talking about the French grapeseed and the curcumin, this is after the conference, this is a product I started taking that has both of those ingredients in it because I saw the doctors present those studies. Tell me a little bit about the difference between curcumin and turmeric.
Well, turmeric is the tree, or excuse me, is the plant. You know, it's about 2 or 3 feet tall with a great big broad green leaves. The field looks beautiful when you see a field of turmeric. But curcumin is found in the root underground. Technically, it's called the rhizome rather than a root. But in the rhizome, you only have about 2 to 4% curcumin. It doesn't have enough power or value to have a medicinal value. So it's a great spice. I love it in my foods. I put it on, I marinate my meats. I put it in my soups. When I make scrambled eggs, it looks orange because I put so much turmeric on it. I love the taste of it. It's good and healthy. But if you have inflammation, turmeric is not enough to eliminate the inflammation. But curcumin will. It's a very, very powerful anti-inflammatory. And they have estimated from a variety of universities that it's more powerful than a steroid or like cortisone. And there's been over 18,000 studies on curcumin to prove that it's an anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, antidepressant. It has a lot of benefits that will help people. In fact, it's more effective than Prozac when treating depression.
That's incredible. Now, that's really interesting how I think I read you wrote that it's like compared like eating an apple to eating an apple tree. We don't eat the apple tree, we eat the apple for nutrition.
Right.
And so you're getting the nutrition in the apple is much more condensed, much more compact in that. Whereas if you ground up at a tree, you're not going to get all the nutrition. It's going to be much more dispersed and diluted.
Right.
With this curcumin, tell me a little bit about the BCM 95. You know, this Curamed clinical OPC product that I've just learned about has the BCM 95 curcumin, and it has that French grapeseed extract, which both of those ingredients were in those studies that you mentioned with colon cancer. So tell me a little bit about BCM 95 and what's the difference between that and other curcumin products.
Well, first of all curcumin is concentrated up to 95%. That makes it strong enough to have a medicinal value. But all curcumin is very, very hard to be absorbed systemically. When it's in the intestinal tract, after you swallow it, it's too difficult to be absorbed through the intestinal wall into the bloodstream and circulate throughout the body and target cells throughout the body. So the major push now is, how do we find a way to increase absorption? How do we get it into the cell? And research, about 10 or 15 years ago, by a company in India, they found that when you add turmeric essential oils, the oils that are found in the plant, and you mix that with the curcumin, it increases the absorption by 700%.
Wow.
So much more gets into the system, makes it more effective. In fact, BCM 95 is the most studied, over 75 studies, the most studied bioenhanced curcumin in the world.
Wow.
BCM 95, now take, for example, you say, okay, we're going to sell a capsule of turmeric. We're going to sell a capsule of curcumin BCM 95. Curcumin BCM 95 is 500 times stronger than turmeric.
Wow.
That's how powerful it is. And that you needed to get that powerful to be effective in order to get it across the lining of the intestinal tract into the bloodstream. Now, many other companies, that is a patented method. So other companies have to look for some other way to try to increase absorption. Some companies have even used synthetic ingredients like polysorbate 80 or other ingredients to increase absorption. And they're not nearly as effective. BCM 95 is highly effective, 75 studies for a variety of conditions.
Right. So tell me about a lot of companies like to use black pepper to increase absorption. Why would I want turmeric essential oils like what are in all of your in BCM 95 and all of your curcumin products? Why would I want the turmeric essential oils instead of black pepper to increase absorption?
Oh, that's a very interesting question. Very good question. In fact, black pepper does not work at all. If you use just black pepper, and I do have people tell me that all the time. I have people that write me and call me and say, I'm buying turmeric, and I take a teaspoon of it and I sprinkle black pepper on it. Well, that's like spitting in the ocean, trying to increase the volume of the ocean. It's ridiculous. And I've even seen some professionals, doctors, NDs, even say the same thing. Just take turmeric and sprinkle it with pepper. Well, black pepper doesn't do anything. There is an ingredient in black pepper, if concentrated,
Piperine,
if it's concentrated anywhere many, many times, and you add that to curcumin, yes, it increases absorption and substantially. But the way that it increases absorption is like causing leaky gut. It opens up the doors of the gut so that the curcumin can go in through easier. But it also allows everything else to go into the intestinal tract, into the bloodstream, like allergens, like mold, anything that toxins can all then enter the bloodstream as easily, because now you open up the windows that will allow things to be absorbed easier.
right? Your gut lining is designed to determine what can come through and what can't come through. And
Right.
when you start having holes in the lining of the gut, then things are starting to get through that aren't supposed to. And so while black pepper, by causing holes in the lining of the gut, or piperine rather, it increases absorption of the turmeric, that it's causing issues. So, and so the turmeric essential oils doesn't do that.
No, it does not do that, not at all. But, and here's one thing too, like most journalists that write articles on curcumin, they read an article, a scientific study on curcumin. The first thing they do is they say in their article, turmeric works. No, turmeric doesn't work. Curcumin works. And they have done the same thing with piperine. Piperine works. I wouldn't want to use a piperine product. I wouldn't want to be associated with it because of all the side effects that it has, major side effects. But when they talk about piperine, somehow they have misunderstood that and they say black pepper. Well, that's where it came from. It came from black pepper, but it not using black pepper doesn't do anything. Unfortunately, that people are being taken down a wrong path.
Yeah. Yeah, black pepper is a pretty easy, pretty cheap thing to add to something too as a filler if you need to.
Yeah.
So tell me about curcumin as an antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, and about curcumin for pain.
Well, first of all, curcumin, you take something like, the ORAC value, which is the antioxidant value of certain plants or berries, blueberries are 6,000 ORAC value, cranberries are 9,000, mangosteen is maybe up to 20,000. And, we hear all good things about chocolate. Oh, you get a chocolate for heart disease. Chocolate is a great antioxidant. Well, that's because they have Mars and Hershey behind chocolate, because they want to push that because then more people eat chocolate. But when you look at it, it has a 40,000 ORAC value. Curcumin has a 1.5 million ORAC value. Grapeseed extract has a 2.1 million ORAC value. So they are powerful, powerful antioxidants.
Wow.
Now, first of all disease is caused by oxidative stress and inflammation. So if we can stop oxidative, even mental disease, dementia, Parkinson's, neurological diseases, all cancer, all these diseases are caused by oxidative stress. That means damage to the cells from smoking, from bad diet, from inflammation, from pollution, from excessive sun, radiation. All these things cause damage to our cells. And without antioxidants, then it comes into where it becomes inflammatory, and then it causes an inflammation. And then all disease is caused by that oxidative damage and inflammation. So all these powerful, powerful antioxidants like curcumin and grapeseed and melatonin, these are all very powerful anti-inflammatories and do a tremendous effect on changing the molecular structure of the body.
That's tremendous. And so, and pain, the pain we have is right with inflammation. All pain is from inflammation.
Absolutely. If you've got pain, you've got inflammation.
And
but a lot of inflammation is silent. The high blood pressure, heart disease. You don't know it until you have a heart attack, but it's been inflamed. You won't know that you have inflammation in the brain until you have Alzheimer's disease or MS. So a lot of these are just underlying inflammation going on all the time, chronic inflammation, because primarily the American diet is an inflammatory diet. Everything you're eating in the American diet today, excessive vegetable oils, carbohydrates, sugar, they cause inflammation. And when people get fat, those fat cells cause inflammation. So we are chronically creating inflammation all the time.
Right, which is part of disease. Disease causes inflammation, but inflammation causes disease. And so it's a vicious cycle where if we're creating an inflamed environment in the body, we're feeding every type of disease. And then the disease happens and then the inflammation increases more.
Yeah, it's so simple because I guess let me put it this way. The concept is very simple. To do it is not so easy because people have been so brainwashed and have changed their appetites to sweet, 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 that, you know, they're hooked on sugar. Sugar is the most addictive, more addictive than cocaine. It's one of the most toxic poisons to our body. In fact, the aging process is something we all will face. We're all going to get older sometime, but some people are going to get older faster. And sugar causes an accelerated aging process because it cross-links with collagen and elastin, and it creates all kinds of damage like wrinkling. Wrinkling is caused by sugar. You know, a lot of ladies go and buy a lot of anti-wrinkle cream. Change your diet and get out some antioxidants. And that is the best advice I can give anybody that wants to be free of wrinkles and have beautiful, nice skin. It's not going to deteriorate as fast. But there are people that are 40, but biologically, internally, they're probably 80. And then there are people that are 80 that have a great time. They have a passion. They're traveling all over the world. They're doing things. They're still active. They're still maybe even in business. You know, I just saw a family with a 91-year-old father is still running the business. That's great. He looked great. And I know a gentleman that 80 years old that shops in one of our health food stores, and he golfs every day during the summer and has a great time. There are people that are 40 that can barely walk around the 18-hole course.
Yeah, that's incredible. Yeah, I come from a family, my wife's side and my side, who were very into healthy living. But my wife's grandma she was in her 80s and she broke her arm and was in a rehab facility for a couple nights. And we went in to visit her. And beside her was a lady who was maybe in her 50s and had been brought McDonald's by her family. She was overweight. She looked like she just was sick and she was depressed and she didn't, have any quality of life. And then you go over to my wife's grandma, who's 90, and she's like, "Hey, I need to get out of here." She's like, the food here is terrible. She's all, "Do you guys have any raw celery?" And we're like, "No, Grandma, sorry, we don't have any raw celery with us." But she had a really good quality of life, clear, till she passed away. And that's really the difference is, how well are we able to fulfill our God-given purpose to the best extent possible all the years that we're given, and if we're not feeling well, we're not going to be able to do that very well. And we're not going to do that for the people we love and to be able to serve our communities the way
I'll tell you about my father and my mother. A good example. My father was an alcoholic. He smoked 3 packs of non-filtered Camel cigarettes since he was 11 years old. He died at 55. He had bone cancer. He could not get out of bed for 3 years. His bones would break just from moving him to change the sheets. My mother had lived a very good life, and my father abused her, but she took care of him for all those 3 years that he was in bed, bathed him, took care of him. She was a saint to him. She lived to be 98 years of age. So look at the difference. She took care of herself. She was a saint to my father. She had a great attitude. Nothing ever bothered her. My father's dead at 55, and it's all lifestyle choices. And my father, I don't know if he could have, but he should have stopped smoking. Everybody could at least try to stop smoking. Everybody can lose weight. Everybody can get in shape. Everybody can change their diet. Everybody can eat better food. Everybody should get rid of sugar and carbohydrate. We can all reduce that. I don't say today, throw everything out of your cupboard, but at least work toward that of getting rid of the sugar, getting rid of the carbohydrates, improving your health. Get out there and walk for 20 minutes a day, or start off with only 10 minutes a day. Do something to make our lives more healthy and more constructive and more productive.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great point. Small habits lead to big change over time.
Oh, yes.
And small habits add on each other. And once you change one good thing, another things follow. And just like your whole life, you were just adding little habits as you went and building on those, and you're still trying to improve every day.
Yeah, I would try to seek, I try to seek out perfection. And there's no thing as perfection. We're not going to ever get there. But if you seek it, you're going to get higher than you ever thought you could get. So, I tried every diet out there. I tried supplements like crazy. I was the experimenter. I tried everything. I tried vegetarian diet. I tried the vegan diet. I tried the all fruit diet. I tried the macrobiotic diet. You explore, you look, you try to think about what's going on in your life. And now, after all those years, you arrive at what you have as your model of good health, and it's convincing.
Right. Absolutely. And we all are different. We all have different nutritional needs, and we got to go through the process of seeking out what's the best for us. Some of what you touched about is, is really a spiritual health. It's really a mental health. It's really, I know one of the big things in our world today is depression. A lot of people are struggling with depression. Tell me a little bit about that. And I know there's been some studies and some information that you have about curcumin and depression. Could you elaborate a little bit more on that?
Well, depression is very severe today, and especially because of the crisis and what's going on in the world today. Some people just don't have the right diet to give them the resiliency and the ability to withstand stress. So stress becomes major. It causes depression, causes anxiety, causes a lot of conditions. Even people can die from the stress and depression levels. And it has increased dramatically in just the last 10 years. I think it went up 133% in the last 10 years.
Wow.
2 studies were done with BCM95 curcumin, and they both came out almost equally the same, that it was actually exactly the same as Prozac. Now, this is only a 6-week study, being exactly the same as Prozac. But when you come down to it, it's not exactly the same, because in the curcumin BCM95 group of people, they didn't have any fallouts. They didn't have any side effects. In the Prozac group, there were people that fell out of the study because they couldn't tolerate the drug, or they had side effects from the drug, or they had to go on rescue medicines, more than Prozac, to try to eliminate their conditions. So it came out that actually BCM95 curcumin was much, much more effective than Prozac for depression.
Wow. That's crazy. I have a few friends who really wrestle with this, and I did take diligent notes at your conference because you presented on this, and there was a handful of products that I really felt like really hit home with me that would be worth trying for folks with depression. One of those is a product, I think it's a new product you came out with. It's called Cortisol Rescue, and it's a B complex, and B vitamins are super important for the neurological function. And then it also has DHEA in it, which is important for your hormones. You talk a little bit about those ingredients?
Well, cortisol is a hormone from your body, made by the adrenal glands, and it increases from stress. So you might have high levels of cortisol. When you have high levels of cortisol, you gain weight, you have irritability, you have more stress, you don't feel right, and you could have depression. Now, there is an ingredient called DHEA, which is another hormone from the adrenal glands, but it is a balancing factor to cortisol. So when cortisol goes up very high, that lowers DHEA. It's the opposing factor. So when you increase DHEA with B vitamins lowers cortisol. So it reduces all that irritation, agitation, the angry attitude, the moodiness, the weight gain. You just feel better because cortisol is a hormone that just tears you down, and you want to lower it, and you can lower it successfully. And you're right, the B vitamins are extremely effective. Vitamin B1 and niacin and some of these are extremely effective for reducing the moods of individuals, helping them to understand to have more resiliency, more resistance against stress, right. A stressful life. So it'll be very, very effective.
Yeah, well, like you said, cortisol, when we're stressed out all the time and our body's dumping cortisol and we're overloaded, you're going to start to have an imbalance with DHEA, and you're gonna start to have some symptomatic, like cortisol, too much of that is poison for the body. It causes a lot of problems. And so we need to balance that out. And for one, we need to deal with stress, right? We need to figure out how to deal with stress mentally, emotionally, spiritually, but we're not ever going to be able to just completely get rid of stress. So there are some ingredients and some products out there that are helpful for those, for managing that in our bodies and the chemistry that's going on there. As you mentioned, curcumin is good. Curcumin is really good for that. Inflammation's involved in that process. The B vitamins, and also the DHEA is a good one. That's what I really like, that product Cortisol Rescue, because it has the B vitamins and it has the DHEA in it. And then, all the BCM95 curcumin is in virtually all of your curcumin products, the Curamin, the extra strength, the Curamin, regular, the Curamed products. You have a new product I'm been hearing good things from folks about pain. It's called Curamed Acute Pain Relief. And that one I've heard some really good stuff about for pain. It's a pretty fast acting. What's the ingredients in there and what makes that to be fast acting?
Well, there's 3 products in this formulation. The curcumin BCM95, which is highly effective for pain relief. Boswellia, which is another herb from India, North Africa. Comes from a tree that grows to that area. Those 2 are very, very effective. And they can be found in our product called Curamin, along with DLPA and nattokinase. So there's 4 ingredients in Curamin. But what goes into the Curamed acute pain relief are these 2 herbal ingredients, and they're emulsified with the black sesame seed oil. They use more black sesame seed oil in formulations in India than any other form of oil. It's a very rare, special black sesame seed oil. They actually mix it together, so they're not 3 separate ingredients in a soft gel capsule. The black sesame seed oil actually makes like a dough of the other 2 ingredients. So, when you make a cake, you don't throw 4 or 5 ingredients in a bowl. You have to whip them up into a batter or a dough. Mm-hmm. And the black sesame seed oil whips them up into a dough, which makes them much more available to be absorbed systemically. Mm. So it's very, very fast acting, very quick. I would say within 15 minutes, many times, I hear from people that my pain is gone in 15 minutes. I would say you can rely on it for sure by an hour, but it's very fast acting and more effective. And you take 2 soft gels at a time. That's 1,000 milligrams. And you can do that 2 or 3 times a day if you need to.
Yeah. I've heard some really good stories from that recently too. Some testimonials from people that come back and have really like that. It's interesting, inflammation is associated with so many things, and it's even part of what we're dealing with COVID-19 and our, what's happening there. Could curcumin help with anti-inflammatories in regards to COVID-19, do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. We don't have any studies that shows that, but inflammation is inflammation. And if you have a product that has been proven to be highly effective, like curcumin BCM95, for reducing inflammation, it's going to do it throughout the body. It's not selective. It doesn't do in the joints. It doesn't do in the heart. It doesn't do in the brain. It does it everywhere. It reduces inflammation throughout the body. And depending on the level of inflammation, you might have to use a higher dosage or longer period of time. But yes, it does have a major impact. And it's a shame that all they think is the answer to COVID-19 are vaccines, because there's a lot more that can be done. All the doctors, the alternative doctors, are talking about zinc, selenium, vitamin C, vitamin D, vitamin A, endographis. I went to the Maldives in summer to have a little bit of relaxing time. Beautiful, beautiful place, gorgeous paradise. And when we got there, we went into our villa, and there was a small little brochure on the desk in the villa telling us about where we could bike, and where we could rent bikes, and all the different kind of things we could do when we're there on the island. And there was a little brochure that said that we want you to be healthy while you're here. We want you to keep our guests healthy, and especially our staff, because they're here all the time. So if you don't mind, come to the office and we'll give you a free bottle of antigraphis to keep you healthy against COVID-19. Wow. Now in China and Malaysia and Thailand, they actually have given a suggestion to the population of those countries to use antigraphis to protect themselves against COVID-19. So there's many things, if it wasn't all money, they would tell people that you could do excellent, at least complementary medicine or alternative medicine with some of these natural ingredients, because they work. We would not have a good immune system without zinc and selenium and vitamin D and vitamin C and vitamin A. We need to keep our immune system healthy. Yeah. I have a vaccine in my body. It's called the immune system. I feed my immune system. I keep it strong. And I travel all over the world, and I'm traveling all the time. And, I meet hundreds of people. When I go to a workshop, there might be 100 or 200 people there. I'm always in the midst of a lot of people that have come from all over the country. But I keep my body strong, and God bless it. It works.
Amen. Yeah, that's so true. And that's a message, that I'd really like to see our health professionals talking about more. And I know there's a lot who are. After meeting with you and learning about what you're doing, I was so impressed by the work you're doing and have done, and the way you're helping merge the gap between natural and conventional medicine. It was so neat to learn about Dr. Ajay. How do you pronounce his name?
Dr. Goyal.
Dr. Goyal and Ajay Goyal.
Right, correct.
And it's just so neat to hear him and how at his hospital, City of Hope Hospital, they're using some natural medicines in conjunction with some of their normal practices. And you hear from Dr. Jacob Teitelbaum, who's using natural medicines in his practice. And it's just was really inspirational. And I'm thank you so much for the work you're doing to kind of merge those, because I really do merging the natural and conventional into the mainstream. I really do feel like this is the future. What are your thoughts on this? What barriers remain and what opportunities exist for us as we move forward as a society?
Well, I would say that we are very, very in our infancy in terms of using natural medicines. We first of all have to get the natural medicines that are available to a high quality degree so that they're effective. Because grapeseed extract is the most adulterated plant in the world. Instead of having grapeseed in a capsule, they have skins from the red skin peanuts, because it has a little bit of OPCs. It has something a little similar to what grapeseed is, and it looks like grapeseed because it's dark in color. So they're cheating. Even with elderberry, they're cheating. There are companies that are selling elderberry extract with vitamin C and vitamin D because people don't know the difference. They hear it. I hear about elderberry, so I'm going to buy some. So they go online and they buy it. Now, elderberry is almost black. So the powder would be black. The capsule would be black. The tablet would be black.
Right.
And they buy a white capsule, completely white. And after analyzing it, it's oat flour, OAT, oat flour. No vitamin C, no vitamin D. And they're spending $30 for something that is absolutely a scam.
Oh my goodness.
But there are shysters out there that know that they can sell stuff like that and get away with it and make money. But the consumer is really being taken to the cleaners. And it's a shame. I'm glad that you have shows like this, that you're helping people understand the quality of nutrition and the quality of supplements to get better health.
Right.
So these are the things that, we're trying to do, but, we're growing. 80% of America takes some sort of vitamin. So that's a big start right there. And I think you're going to see more and more of that. I know there are doctors who would never admit it, but they're taking supplements because they don't want to promote it. I know a doctor that is taking our curcumin products for his pain, and he works with, he's an osteopathic doctor, and he works with people in pain, but he takes our product. He doesn't recommend it. He doesn't tell his patients because he's afraid of the pushback and what might be the clash with AMA or somebody else.
Right.
So we have a lot to do before we get further, but we're growing. We have grown more in the last 2 or 3 years because of the pandemic. Everybody wants to be healthier.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's a good point. I think some of the good things that have come out of this, of course, obviously there's lots of bad and lots of people have lost loved ones, and it's, heartbreaking. And we want to be able to help those people with all the options that are possible. I think it's good that we're waking up to our need to be healthy and to have a strong immune system and asking the questions. What is it that leads to a strong immune system? Is it a deficiency in pharmaceutical drugs, or is it a deficiency in the natural things that our body already has and uses and needs that are already present in nature, that are already present in God's creation, that were made for our bodies to lead to health? And we're waking up to and asking those important questions. And we're also seeing that there is a hope for a future, for a better future. There's a long way to go, but I do believe we have the challenge is as big as the opportunity. The opportunity is as big as the challenge that we face. And so we need to look at it as an opportunity for positive change in the right direction for the health of our nation, the health of our communities, the health of our loved ones, the health of our own bodies, so that we can be strong, so that we can live the full lives that we were made to live the best possible. And Terry, like you mentioned with the products, there is a lot of fraud in the industry. And so you really want to be able to trust the supplement companies that you're buying supplements from. You want to know that they're doing their homework, that they actually care about people, that they're putting the effort in. And I got to say, I really admire you and your team and the effort you guys put in and the standards you have and commitment you have to helping people with their health and creating quality products. So thank you so much for that.
Well, I appreciate it. It's my pleasure. I enjoy doing it. I know what it's done for me. And because I know this, I think I have a responsibility and obligation to pass it forward. I think if people knew that they could change their life and that life's not hopeless, I've got this condition, I've got type 2 diabetes is not even diabetes. It's an optional. You can have it or you don't have to have it. All it is high blood sugar. And why? Because we're eating too much sugar. So all of that sugar goes in the bloodstream and they say, oh, you're diabetic. Well, no, you're not diabetic. You're just eating too much sugar. You still make insulin. You're not a type 1 diabetic.
Right.
So they just put a name on it to be able to sell drugs to cure it. Here the cure is food. Stop eating sugar.
Absolutely, 100%. Terry, what message would you like to leave with my audience? What words of encouragement do you have for people in our communities?
Know you can change. Know that you have the ability to be well. It's your choice. Only you and I can make choices that can improve our health. Doctors will not, drug companies will not. Drugs do not make us healthy, and they may be necessary in some cases. So I'm not telling you not to take your drugs. Go to your doctor and talk about drug therapy. But using a proper diet, proper nutrition, and supplements to help fill in the gap, you can change. I don't care how old you are, what condition you're facing. I've seen people with 4th stage cancer, and in 6 months they're cured by making changes in their lifestyle. You can get better every day. Just do something every day to get better. Start walking 10 minutes a day, or even 5 minutes a day, or even if you can't get up, walk around in the living room. Turn off the TV, do something, bend over and stretch, get on the floor. Hey, most people that got on the floor, they'd never get up again. So we have to be more fit, get in better shape, go take yoga, do something, meditation, do prayer, do all things that are positive in your life. Your life's going to change to the positive. You're going to feel fantastic.
Well, thank you so much for that. And Terry, I just thank you so much for being on the show today. I wanted to say, if you want to learn more about Terry, and he has a show that's called Terry Talks Nutrition, and you can find this show and many of his writings on terrytalksnutrition.com. You can also find all Terry Naturally's products here at Nature's Pantry, and you can also find them at terrynaturallyvitamins.com. So I just want to say in closing, just thank you so much. Thank you to our audience for joining us today. God bless you, and just remember that small habits lead to big change, and you are worth it. Thank you, Terry. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.